Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 10th of April. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, I've been watching this ceasefire with great attention. And watching hours a day of news on it. But what seems pretty clear at this stage is there is actually no ceasefire. This is all just some kind of fever dream thingy. We had on Tuesday, we had there's a lot of unconfirmed news out there. I mean, I'm hearing that the U.S. Servicemen refused to carry out the missions they were given on Tuesday, and that's why the ceasefire was announced. But in terms of the ceasefire being announced, obviously the U.S. accepted the Iranians' 10-point plan, and they're now denying having done that. Obviously, it was very clear that the ceasefire would include Lebanon, and then the US was denying that it included Lebanon, which was strange because obviously the Pakistani tweets and so on very, very clearly included it. And the Americans are now saying that as far as they're concerned, the Iranians accepted their plan, because effectively the 10-point plan was an Iranian wish list of basically the Americans entirely surrendering. So that was one main reason I was very surprised that they'd accepted it. Equally, I'd have been completely astonished if the Iranians had accepted the Americans' 15-point plan, which they're now the US is now claiming that they thought the Iranians had done, because effectively that would have been a complete surrender. So it would appear no one agreed to anything. There's no actual current ceasefire, although the US isn't carrying out missions at the moment. And the talks that were due to start tomorrow, I think, aren't starting because the Iranians say that until there's actually a ceasefire, there doesn't seem a lot of point starting talks. And currently there is no ceasefire unless the Israelis stop attacking Lebanon. So it's an odd situation where we've got what looks like a pause, but we don't really have a ceasefire. The Strait of Hormuz is most definitely closed, and it's hard to see that anything that was being talked. Well, I don't think there's any progress being made towards peace, because there are actually no talks happening, and no particular reason to think that talks will start. So we will see. This leaves us in a situation where the US may actually start bombing again at any day, and may start obviously after the market closes tonight, and bomb over the weekend. We'll have to see how that develops. This makes me less optimistic about the upside, and that of course brings us to the next point, which is we have a load of negative divergence here. Now you can see a bit of it here, but this isn't the main stuff I'm looking at. We've actually got possible weak 60-minute sell signal brewing here on ES after this little bounce up. Very weak sell signal here on potentially on NQ, nothing on RTY, nothing on YM. We haven't reached any of the obvious pattern targets on the RTH charts that I was looking at. DAX, possible bear flag forming. ESTX, possible bear flag forming. Got a little level top here. We've got a 6-minute sell signal fixed. Nikkei, again, I've got targets to the upside. I'm wondering if I think we might need more than sort of whispers of a possible agreement, or someone might be talking about something to somebody to actually get more out of this. But let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, looking at the 15-minute charts, obviously we've got an IHS target which is broken up in the 69.12 area. That could potentially be made. We had made some upside progress yesterday without much obvious reason to do so. What I'm noting here, though, is that we've got possible RSI 14 sell signal, possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the hourly charts. For those fixed, we can start actually seeing a bit of pullback here. And that pullback, depending on what happens over the weekend, may not stop. I.e. this could be as high as we're going to get. Q's got a little level top here. We're not close to the IHS target in the 7.5 area, but again, on the hourly chart, we have possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing, possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing. Looking at Dia, Getting pretty close actually to the IHS target here, which was one of the least ambitious. That's at 486.25. But have a look at we've actually got some 15-minute divergences as well. But the main ones I'm looking at here are on the alleys, where of course on Dia we've now got also a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing and a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing. These are ominous divergences that may well be about to play out. Normally, if I'm seeing a series of divergences like this, then generally speaking, these will fix and deliver a retracement. So this could be the exception, but that's what I'm looking at here. In terms of IWM, again, this was double bottoms broken up, hasn't made the targets yet. Negative divergence, we've got RSI 14 and RSI 5 negative divergence on the alley. This is an unusual confluence of divergences on all of these indices at the same time, and it is a real concern that we are about to see some retracement either today or on Monday. And obviously, if the ceasefire, such as it is, which isn't much of a ceasefire at the moment, collapses over the weekend, then chances are we're getting straight down again. We shall see how that goes, but I'm not optimistic about this lasting that long because there doesn't appear to be any real ceasefire at all. Okay, DX, you've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed. We've seen a little more downside here, got a potential double bottom here, but if we see the war resume, then I would expect to see the upside on DX resume as well. ZB, this looks like a bear flag forming at the moment. Not making much progress towards the double bottom target. And again, if the war resumes, I would expect to see bonds going down. ZN kind of looks like a bear flag forming as well. In terms of the oil charts, CL, coil, this looks like a bear flag forming. We've got a weak 6-minute buy signal fixed here, but it hasn't really delivered much in the way of targets. It looks like a bear flag forming on CL. Now, these could give us a little more downside, but basically, obviously, if the war resumes, these are tending to go up. In terms of, HO, looks like a little bear flag. RBOB looks like a little bear flag. Now, if we do see a push down here on oil and a push up on indices today, then we could potentially kill that divergence, but that divergence may survive, but we may start making some targets to the upside, which again would increase the chances that we're going to see a hard fail. So I'm not optimistic about this lasting, and I'm certainly not optimistic about oil prices, given that we effectively seem to have stopped all oil transfers to anyone who isn't an Iranian ally through the Strait of Hormuz, or at least that has remained the case. This is a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing on NG, by the way. It's not on the charts I've capped for today because I've already put all those on the page. I'm just waiting for the video, but this is a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing, and we've reached the kind of target area that I was looking at. I'll have a look and see whether we fully reached it, but I was talking about the test here in about the 2.61, 2.62 area, and that we've reached. So we've got a possible bounce coming on natural gas. Looking at the metals, GC lost in space. Not sure which way this is going to go if the war resumes. Really, I think it should go up, but we've not seen much indication that that's flipped yet. So it could be that it would go down instead. Palladium, platinum, these could all be bear flags forming on HG. We're seeing a bit of a rally here, and we've actually got, at the moment, the weak 6-minute sell signal looks as though it is failing. Not quite sure why this is going up, but obviously we saw some decent downside, so we're getting a rally. In terms of the other commodities, KC, keeping an open mind. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed. Looking at a short-term rally here, could just continue going down afterwards. SB, we've seen a very, very strong retracement here. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing, and I'm wondering about a rally. CC, this looks like an overall bear flag or triangle forming in terms of CT. This is likely to continue going up, I think, in the absence of the Strait of Hormuz being freed up. I'm working on a post on that. That should be out within an hour or two. Lumber may well be resuming the downside. Looks like a bullish consolidation on old bull flags forming on wheat. Same on corn. Soy, we are forming an IHS right shoulder at the moment. I think all of these cotton, wheat, corn, and soy now have pretty decent looking bullish setups, which are likely to play out if we see more disruption to fertilizers and the stretch formulas. ZL, keeping an open mind on this one. Possible double top here, but I'm not really expecting that to play out. Live cattle continuing to the upside, not seeing any sign of that turning. And lean hogs, I'm wondering about a retest of the low before likely we see more upside there as well. All right, great. In that case, no questions. I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys on Monday. Although, obviously, those of you watching the bigger picture webinars, I'll see you on Sunday. All right, everyone take care. Cheers.